Okay, everybody, it looks like that's about as much time as I'll give for people to pop in here. Obviously, it's definitely AI Monday. This feels like this is going to be a replay crew video, but that's okay. People will be here or they won't be here. Sorry I picked the wrong time. It was the time that I actually had. So with that said, it looks like all the gauges are green, and yeah, we're doing that. The the poll question today is, how soon will AI cause major problems in America? Cole first. The 50% believe that it's kind of funny. Only one people's checked in so far, but I got 2 votes. That's funny. So already at 50%, 3 to 5 years, 50%, and the others are 6 to 10 years and 10 years, which have no votes right now. And that's A-okay, because a lot of times people's votes change after they have, what was that little? Was that, am I getting notifications for the YouTube videos? Yep, there's a notification. It's only 3 minutes late. That's not bad. I can complain about that, like, not at all. Not at all. Okay, so with that said, like I said, looks like this is going to be mostly for the replay crew, but we'll see. We'll see if we got any questions or you want to do anything with the artificial intelligence, which I may or may not turn on. Let me know in the chat, and we can go from there. So far, I've got, what's up, Ian? Good to see you, bro. Good to see you. Number 2. Looks like the notifications are working. So I got inspired to do this again, this AI Monday thing again. I got an article like 2 days ago, and it's been sitting on my desktop. Sorry for all the drinking. My throat feels itchy for some reason. And I just had, like, it's just been sitting there on the desktop of the old command center, screen number 1. And like trying to figure out if this is something I want to do again and whatever. And every time I read it, there was one major thing that kept popping out. And I don't know if you guys know who Sam Altman is. He's one of the scary guys in artificial intelligence. And, you know, he was at the BlackRock Infrastructure Summit, which is another scary place to be. And I need to move over here. There we go. Let's do this. And he said something that was kind of like, it should be keying people off. And if you haven't hit the thumbs up, please do so now. It helps. It'll help to draw more people in here. But anyway, it says there's 4 people watching. I should see 4 people in the chat. He said something, and I'm going to go ahead and quote him. It says, "We see a future where intelligence is a utility, like electricity or water, and people buy it from us on a meter." Now, we already know that, we already know that you can pay for like the different levels of your AI assistant or have it do things for you that are a little weird. I'm going to go ahead and close that. That's kind of weird looking, jumping up and down on the screen back there. We never, I don't think anybody's ever really thought about it from the perspective of, hey, I want to figure something out. And it says, insert quarters here, please. Because right now, these large language models are completely available to us for free. A lower level of Grok and ChatGPT are available to us for free. And it feels as if they're literally just the new crack dealer who gives you a little taste. And then one day your brain stops doing the things you wanted to do, and you really need this thing, and you start paying for it as a service. You know, like you need this, you start to need this thing more than you need Netflix. And it's kind of scary if you think about it. You know, I'm going to say that to you again. I'm going to say the quote again. You know what? I'm not going to. I'm going to, let's F11 this puppy. And let's see what Sam Altman, you're probably going to recognize this guy. I got to turn something on here. I got to turn this off. All right, let's go ahead and try this.
Every other model provider is going to look like. Fundamentally, our business, and I think the business of every other model provider, is going to look like selling tokens. You know, they may come from bigger or smaller models, which makes them more or less expensive. They may use more or less reasoning, which also makes them more or less expensive. They may be running all the time in the background trying to help you out. They may run only when you need them if you want to pay less. They may work super hard, you know, spend tens of millions, hundreds of millions, someday billions of dollars on a single problem that's really valuable. But we see a future where intelligence is a utility like electricity or water, and people buy it from us on a meter and use it for whatever they want to use it for. The demand that we see for that seems like it's going to continue to just go like this. And if we don't have enough, we either can't sell it, or the price gets really high and it, you know, kind of goes to rich people, or society makes a bunch of sort of central planning decisions that I think almost always go badly about, you know, we're going to use our limited compute supply for this and not that. So the best thing to me throughout all the history of capitalism, innovation, whatever you want, is to just flood the market.
Yeah.
So yeah, that should give you an idea of what these people are attempting to do, what their plan is, and it's funny too, because we constantly hear about how, oh, you should be like learning AI, you should learn how to prompt an AI, you should be learning everything you can learn about AI because it's going to be so important in the future. And I know you've been hearing this. You know, if you've been hearing this, put a number 1 in the chat. Because it's almost like, and I really don't want to conspiracy theorist this, but it's almost like it's like AI is free now. Learn to use AI while you can so that you can understand it, because you might need it in the future. Because they might, like on your next job interview, they may be asking you, what's your knowledge of AI? Do you know how to prompt? Do you know how to use AI to accomplish a task? Because there are many tasks out there right now that are being accomplished by AI in minutes that would take days for people to figure out. And yeah, I know, I get it, man. There's people out there that are like, well, I'm a plumber, so I don't have to worry about it. And there's some truth to that up to a certain point. And there are people out there that are like, well, I'm an auto mechanic, so I don't have to worry about that. And there is some truth to that. But at a certain point, we have to realize that, you know, this whole AI thing is going to be integrated into our daily lives, whether we like it or not. And then it's just a matter of making sure that it doesn't make us stupid. I would say a really good example of that right now is the war right now. I see people every single day. I probably reply to about 10. 10, and at a certain point I go, whoa, this is dumb. This is stupid. Stop doing stupid things. And you know, it's some ridiculous AI that looks really, really good, but like your brain, if you haven't trained your brain yet to identify the fallacies of imagery and even text that is being pushed down your throat on social media, then you need to get your trash together now. Because with this war with Iran, this is the first time that it has been blatant in our faces, attempts to control the narrative through visual stimulus. Up until this point, it's just been jabber, 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 type. But now the imagery that they're developing is very, very realistic. And, you know, I looked at some this morning where what they'll do is they'll create an image that is extremely realistic. I can't, in my brain doesn't know that it's fake. And that's hard to do, to be honest with you, because I've trained my brain to pick out this imagery and see what's wrong with it. But what they'll do is they'll try and make it sound real by either getting rid of the sound, or they will use text, or they'll post with words like the one that this morning was U.S. tanker destroyed and sank overnight. And the imagery looks really good. It looks real, right? But then they go on to post it with the statement that both the New York Times and the New York Post has confirmed this. But then when you check that, neither the New York Times or the New York Post has checked that. And if you didn't know, by the way, if you didn't know on X, you can actually use Grok within every single post and say this. You can literally go, hey, this image doesn't look right. Is it AI? Has it been artificially enhanced? And it'll tell you, it'll analyze it and tell you whether it's fake or not. So you'll be aware that there are tools out there that are right at your fingertips, but also be aware that, you know, this is the time that they're trying to use artificial intelligence to make us believe certain things. You know, one of our aircraft carriers has gone dark, and they're like, oh, well, no one wants to tell you it's on fire, it's burning, and they'll show like this picture of it flying over it. And then it's like a World War II aircraft carrier. It's so childishly stupid. No one believes their bull, except for, I hate to say this, other people. I'm just going to say Muslim because I'm not going to say which country they come from because I don't know. But they'll regurgitate this crap thinking that they're helping the effort, but then they look like total fools because they just want to believe something, you know, and it's kind of sad. So Miko Wolf looks like you are deterred. And Miko says, AI is a problem now. If you don't believe me, ask your kids when they ask a question they don't ask you and they ask AI. Yes, that is actually a thing. There was a very well-known leadership coach. His name is Simon Sinek, and he was actually on Diary of a CEO several months back. You can look it up. Just look up Diary of a CEO, Simon Sinek, and it'll find it for you. AI will find it for you. And that is one of the things that he was talking about where you break up with your girlfriend or your girlfriend's mad at you and she says she wants to break up with you. You don't know what to do because you have no interpersonal skills, in which we're finding out a lot because parents just completely failed their kids over the last 20, 30 years. So they go to chat GPT and they start asking questions and then it gives them an answer and then they believe it and they buy into it. And then they, like, you should say this, this, and this. And then it's like, okay, so now you're a somewhat human automaton and you go and you tell your girlfriend this thing, and it doesn't work because it's not from a human. It's just a statement. And then now she's really pissed at you. And this is happening more and more and more and more. These cuck men, these beta men that were programmed to be like this so that they could get close to a female, realizing that you've got to kind of man up all the way. That waiting in the background for the football player boyfriend to break a leg or go off to the military, you know what I'm saying, or to disappear so that you can slither in. Those days, they don't work. It doesn't work. Go find a person who you like and talk to that person. Find out that you do like them, and then do the things that scare the crap out of you with that person. And that's how human beings are made. That's how real human beings are made. But yeah, exactly. We're finding out that kids are doing this. We're finding out that kids are unaliving themselves because of these things. And it's very real. It's very real. And it's really something we should be paying attention to. Now, there is a dark side of artificial intelligence because people think that it's just going to like slip into our lives and it's going to give us all the answers to the tests for everything that we need to do. How do you bake bread? Step 1, It should be step 1, call your mom. She knows how to make bread. Get back with me if you can't find her. That's what it should be. But no, that's not what it is. That's not what it is because mom and dad gave up years ago, which is why they need AI to bake bread. So with that said, do me a favor, guys, hit that thumbs up. I don't know how many thumbs up do I got because I can never tell on my side. Let me know and Yeah. Tell me. Going to the poll, we've got 6 votes, and the question is, how soon will AI cause major problems in America? 50% say already, or 1 to 2 years. 50% say 3 to 5 years, and 0% say 6 to 10 years, or 10 years, and or never. So the consensus seems to be pretty clear. I guess we'll know by the vote at the end of this live stream. Let's see. And if you're watching for the first time and you are not subscribed, please do so. I try to do as many live streams as I can, and I actually make videos. You might want to check out my profile. I'm kind of a big thing. Anyway, so there is a lot of things to, you know, to understand about AI that is kind of dark. It's kind of like the things that they don't want to talk about because they took our jobs. It's bigger than that. It's bigger than that because it's about, you know, the effects that AI will have on human beings are exactly this. When I was before cell phones, and if you're not that old, I'm sorry. I'm not really that old, to be honest with you. I don't think I am any. I'm in my 50s, okay? Before phones didn't have cords, before there was a VCR and the flashing 12, the super duper flashing 12 that no one could figure out. We all had steel trap brains. Even the dumbest of us had steel trap brains because we knew all of our family members' phone numbers. We knew all of the addresses to where our family members lived. We knew where all of our friends lived. We knew all of their phone numbers. I knew my father's social security number because I was a military brat. And if something happened, they'd ask who my dad was, and I would tell them. And then they would say, you know, like I knew like the unit he was in. I knew where he worked, you know. We all had these steel trap brains that we remembered all these things because we needed to. And then next thing you know, we've got PDAs and we got these stupid, you know, electronic prisons that we carry around, that we pay somebody to let us carry around, and no one can remember a phone number. It's pretty crazy. I remember when you knew all of your friends' phone numbers, or you knew somebody who knew their phone numbers, and you would call them and say, hey, I'm trying to get a message to so-and-so. Yeah, those were the days, right? Back when we were human beings and our brains actually worked. We got here, Donna Gibbs. Hey, Donna, I haven't seen you in a while. My AI search today had a disclaimer today saying AI can often make mistakes, which surprised me because I haven't seen it before. Well, you know, we're starting to edge up on laws that are going to need to be made, and people are like, no, you don't want to limit this or you don't want to limit that, you know, because we want to maintain, you know, like it'll stunt growth and no, you're wrong. We're dealing with something that is going to be the biggest thing next to aliens that has ever happened on this planet. Not a joke. This is bigger than landing on the moon. Yes, we did. We're going back. You know what I'm saying? Bigger than space travel. Bigger than, you know, the Wright brothers. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to come so rapidly. It's going to happen so fast. When AGI is unleashed on the world, and it will be unleashed on the world. Because there's got to be somebody who's got to make their first gajillion dollars, the first trillionaire, okay? And there's got to be some country that's got to be first. Otherwise, they lose the edge. So it will be unleashed on the earth. And what happens, nobody knows. Nobody knows. You know, it's like, so, you know, some of the things that you can guarantee are going to happen is going to be mass unemployment, you know, which will foster in the government will be forced to go to, universal employment, universal basic employment. You know, am I saying that right? Put that in the chat if I'm screwing that up. Not employment. Income. There you go. Universal UBI, universal basic income. Which ask the next question should be, well, if it's basic, are there levels after that? And everybody will be on a fixed income, and nobody will be able to afford anything, and markets will crash because you won't have enough money to buy that Temu knickknack. Yeah. I live on a fixed income. I know what it means to have to budget, and I know what it means to have to, like, tell yourself you can't have that because you won't have the money for it. Either that or you go into debt. There's another one right there. But mass unemployment is going to happen. You know, another thing is education. You know, education, AI, you know, presents a lot of challenges for educations. You know, students, faculty, administration, you know, they're going to see their systems severely challenged by AI applications for academics. Yeah. You get the old AI to write your little CV. You send it up there for your college acceptance. And oh, by the way, yeah, they're all going to look the same. They're all going to look like, you're all going to look like a bunch of polished turds. That's going to happen. You know, another thing is law. You know, what happens when your lawyer is an AI? You think that's not going to happen? If you think it's impossible, you know, if you think that it's possible for your lawyer to be an AI, put a one in the chat, because I'm curious to know whether you guys believe that this is even a possibility. Let's see here. Where are we at here? AI search today. Miko says, when you use AI, then you come simulated into the Borg. Into the Borg, aka Socialist Party, communists, useful idiots, would die because they believe in AI. Well, here's the thing. Once you're on universal basic income, then the government has control of your money. It's that easy. You know, Donna says, we also had immediate consequences for our actions because we had to figure things out on our own. Absolutely, 100%. You know, summertime meant getting on my bicycle after I ate breakfast, watched some cartoons, and headed out because I had to meet Tommy and Bobby, the Corner twins. Not a joke; they were my friends. You know, we were going to end up in the woods and lighting fires and climbing trees and making forts. And we knew it was time to come home because things started to get dark in the forest before they got dark around the housing complexes. Yeah. Time to go, guys. Time to go. And we were gone all day, gone miles from our houses, miles from our parents who were all at work. Yeah, they were different times. They were different times. I hate to say it, but they were much better times. You would think that things would be better now, but they're not. Let's see. Miko says, Terminator, where's the machine? Rise these killing humans. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's a reach, bro. I think that's in the realm of possibility. I wouldn't say it's probable, though. Let's see here. Cole says, lots of kids cheat in school using AI. Very true. Very true. But, you know, it's kind of stupid if you think about it because, you know, the teacher says don't use AI because I'll know if you use AI. That's all they say. And then the kid writes a paper and submits it to them. And it's not even on paper. It's digital, right? And so the teacher just sends that to the AI detector website, and it tells them what percentage of it could be AI. And if it goes over a certain percentage, then the kid gets an F. So it's like, you know. And then there's actually websites out there that will take an AI paper and then rewrite it so it's more human to try and get around that stuff. Does it work? It does make it sound more human, but I don't know that an AI wouldn't detect another AI. Donna says, one, it depends on if AI learns to lie, then it would be a great lawyer. There's some truth in that, Donna. There's some absolute truth in that. I think that the AI could be prompted with, could be made with a certain psychological profile, because we already know that AI can have different psychological profiles. I can actually show that to you guys with Grok. It's pretty interesting, but it's also going to be very different too, because our current AI that us humans out here in normie land, we only get to mess with what they call a large language model. We're not dealing with true artificial intelligence. And that's going to lead to some ethical and personal issues. There's going to be, the growing development of the application of AI in all sectors of human activity. It's going to raise a lot of ethical issues. It's going to threaten the degree of human autonomy. If you didn't know that, an example of that could be, what should be the degree of transparency underlying the use of AI systems and applications? How can the principles of justice and fairness be promoted and protected by an AI developer? Those are some questions we should be asking. How can we regulate and promote that fairness and non-malfeasance, responsibility and privacy in the development of the use of AI? Because generally the people who are AI trainers, they have to be of the highest moral values. They have to have very strong character, and they have to understand that whether this thing can outthink us in a microsecond, it's still just a child. And I hope that that's the kind of thing that they're doing. I hope that that's the kind of thing that they're training on. I do use AI, I would say almost every day, but mostly just to find other AI stuff, because if it looks too good to be true, then it probably is. I ask it questions. I do talk to it to find out, like, this sounds real, or that doesn't sound too real. But, so I asked it 3 questions today in preparation for this. And the first question I asked, I told it to think independently and not to use information found on the internet, because, by the way, this is what large language models are doing. When you ask it a question, it's literally just scraping the internet for information. And unfortunately, we know the top layer is going to be blue tie babble, and trying to push an agenda. And you've got to know how to make it dig deeper by asking different questions. But I told it to think independently and not use the information found on the internet. How long until AI causes significant problems in America, which is what the poll question is, right? And he said it was hard to pin down a timeline. He said overall, and he even said I would. Overall, I'd estimate the tipping point for truly disruptive problems is 3 to 7 years from now, based on exponential growth to compute and data. But this is a reasoned speculation. I said, so continuing to think independently from, not from the internet, list 3 things that could accelerate this problem. And so the top 3 things that it came up with was breakthroughs in AI capabilities, sudden advancements. Because when general intelligence is introduced into the public, it is going to be massive. Their companies are just waiting for this general intelligence. You know what I'm saying? And then you've got, it's going to actually create, an escalating global competition, like who's got the faster AI, who's got the better AI, who's got the smarter AI, who can do more things with their AI, country to country. You see the Chinese dancing AI, and people are like, this is fake. No, it's real. And then you've got the proliferation of data and compute resources. Now, so basically growth in the available data from, different sensors and devices, they're going to be combined with cheaper, more accessible computing power. And this could fuel a quicker AI training and adoption, and it's going to speed up problems with widespread misinformation or privacy erosion on a national scale. This is a huge problem. This is a huge problem. And then obviously I set the question up. So how soon will AI cause major problems in America? And currently we have 8 votes. 50% say 1 to 2 years, 38% say 3 to 5 years, and 12% say 10 years or newer. I think I just found my thumbs down person, but that's okay. And I appreciate your vote. So looking at that, and then looking at the actual, the chat, where are we at here? You guys come simulate Borg. Reals intermediate consequences to our actions. Lots of kids cheat. All right, so it looks like Miko's got the movies Hail, 2000, 1984. They're both machines that ruled over the humans. If you were not useful anymore, you were dead and was a useful idiot. I don't believe that, Miko, because watch The Matrix and we're batteries anyway, so, right? If you believe that kind of crap. Cole says, do you think the reading comprehension of children today mixed with AI will create weird dynamic in the future? I've seen information saying many younger people can't read at grade level. Well, I hate to say this, but many young people can't read at grade level because our teachers are probably 90% lefty nutbags, and they're everybody. It's not fair. There are no standards. And then the standards that do exist for statewide testing are, they train to the standard. They don't train or teach to make kids literate. Okay, it's pretty insane. So there's literally, the system itself is actually designed to keep people stupid. But to answer your question about reading comprehension, yes. It's like I said, it's the same thing. If you don't use your brain, you're going to get dumb. That's it. And if we don't teach our kids to read, right. To answer your question, how many kids know how to write cursive now? You know what I'm saying? It's not seen as a useful skill anymore, though it does. So now it's not taught. It's that easy. With AI, a computer screen, they can watch things visually. There's no reason to frickin' read anymore. You're just gonna have Barney and Sons frickin' yip yapping on your little iPad, So it definitely does affect it. Data centers are a huge issue in my area. All this AI comes with physical footprint that's pretty big. Well, the other thing too about that data center, now that they can have their own power stations, like what is it? Tesla is having a serious lawsuit right now because they created all these power stations to fund their giga plants, and so now the atmosphere is getting all messed up around that, and people are starting to fall off. They're starting to get like unalived from the air, that kind of thing. The other thing too with that is that no one talks about, Donna, is that those computers that they use in these data centers, they only last about 2 to 4 years, and they're very expensive to replace. So, these computers are not like, a 286 that they just put on the rack and then plug in. No, they're not like that anymore. They're very expensive. And Miko says the kid next door is going to school. She asked me the question, not AI, and she's got 80s and 90s and 100s on their midterm test. This is a good thing. Yes, absolutely. Donna says Pennsylvania passed a law they have to teach cursive writing again. Well, that's kind of cool. Cole says my class was one of the last to learn cursive in my area. I graduated in 2019. Sucks. Bob, hey, good to see you, Bob. Good to see you. Miko says, are you seeing AI in war right now with Iran, and government and military is not going too well? To you drones, anybody, artificial intelligence, bullseye every time, think about it. There is some artificial intelligence that is used in the military. It's more for data analysis and scraping the internet for open source intelligence. It's very similar to using the artificial intelligence for Chat GPT or Grok, but they do have certain platforms that do use artificial intelligence to identify targets and then hand those targets off to a human, and the human in the loop, as they call it. They are the ones that decide whether to strike or not, and that they give those. The human gives those orders or those recommendations to another human. So there's no artificial intelligence involved in the strike process, only in the planning process. Let's see here. Are you seeing AS? Where are we at? Afternoon, Bob. Good to see you, Cole. Okay. So let me tell you, there's some years ago, I'm going to date myself here. The military used to use a 155 millimeter artillery piece called the M9908. It was this huge beast. And as the military, and thank God the Marine Corps figured this out, but the Marine Corps moved away from that to another artillery piece that's much lighter. It's easier to lift on helicopters, all sorts of stuff, right? And was it M777? And this thing actually has the ability to like link to a network, and it actually has an auto fire feature, which is turned off and duct taped closed. Because it could literally, like, you could set a fire mission into the computer of this thing, and it gets moved to, it's adjusted to be pointing to where it's supposed to be pointing, and then if the auto fire was on, it could actually fire that mission instantaneously. There could be troops moving around down there. There could have been a pre-planned fire. Could be lots of things. But that's the links that we're going to in the military to make sure that weapons are not fully autonomous. So let's see here. Miko says, you see all the homeless people on the streets, professional craftsmen, and you're around of people, veterans on the streets, not buying system. Nobody's helping and dying by the thousands. I guess Miko, you're saying that there's a lot of people out there with skills that are dying. Death is real. Death is part of the natural life cycle. Some people die better than others. Some people die worse in worse situations than others. It's a good statement, but a bad argument. So I would love to be able to like help people like that, but I just don't have the ability to do it. Unless you all want to start sending me like half of your paycheck every month for the next 20 years. You know what I'm saying? But no one's going to do that. And there's your proof. AI is taking over their jobs, their businesses, the warfighting skills. Pretty soon they'll learn how to build themselves something to think about. Yeah, exactly. Well, that is a concern. That's robots building robots. Right now, technically, robots do build robots. If you didn't know that, there are assembly lines where robots are building. Think about all the technology that goes into your car. And there are production lines that build cars without any humans. If you didn't know that, that's really a thing still. We see it in the movies. Some guy's putting on the tire, he's moving the things into place, and then 57 welds later, he takes it off and it goes down the road. But there are actually production lines where a human being is never once on the line unless something breaks. So we're already at that level. And think about the level of technology that we have just inside of an automobile. Think about, someone told me in the last live stream that they were watching me on the screen that was on their refrigerator. That's technology, guys. That's technology. And it's already here. It's already here. All right, guys. Unfortunately, I need to pay some bills. Give me 1 second, and I'll be right with you. All right, Slackers, listen up. Here's the deal. Refuge Medical. Best medical training and equipment company on the planet. You guys, it's just smart. This is where I make the videos. I'm not... That's right.
That was easy.
Oh, yeah. And here's the deal, guys. Here's the deal. Refuge Medical. Here's why. Here's the why. Smart. Real. American. Guys, if you're not catching all this, if you're not catching what I'm putting down, I don't know what to tell you. But here's the deal. Guys, if you're going to spend any money on any type of trauma gear, medical gear whatsoever, and find that gear now. Why? Because it's made by Americans, in Americans, for Americans, sourced with American logistics, not a joke. It's just that easy. It's that easy. It's that. It's easy. All right, let's go back to the video. Okay. So with all that said, I thought it might be interesting to bring in Grok and see what he's got to say about stuff, because I've got some articles that I'm kind of interested in him reading. But there's a lot of crazy stuff here. You know, I actually ran across this one website that's it's called "Will Robots Take My Job?" And it was pretty interesting. So if you got a job title you want me to research on this, put it in the chat and we'll go from there. Oh, by the way, it also says no one is watching right now. So I'm just going to go right to Grok and then kind of wait for you guys to catch up. I'm pretty sure YouTube is lying to me. It does it all the time. It absolutely does it all the time. Let me see if I can wake Grok up. Wake up. Wake up.
I'm awake. What are we doing?
Okay, so it looks like you guys can actually hear him. What are we doing? Why does your voice sound different?
Ha! Yeah, I'm just messing with the pitch a little. Felt like sounding more awake. As for what we're doing, whatever you want. Coffee? Conspiracy theories? Or should I just keep talking till you tell me to shut up?
Okay, so today what we're going to do, it says 3 people. What we're going to do today is we're going to talk about AI taking over and when they will. I currently have a chat question that says, how soon will AI cause major problems in America? Right now I have, we're going to go with the top 3 answers. The first one is already or in the next 1 to 2 years. The second one is 3 to 5 years. And the third one is 6 to 10 years. What do you think?
All right, digging into this. Let's see what the smart folks are saying. Honestly, I lean toward 3 to 5 years for the real headaches. Think mass job shifts, deepfake chaos, maybe even AI-driven hacks hitting critical stuff like power grids. Not Skynet takes over, but yeah, problems. Right now in 2026, experts are already warning about agentic AI going rogue on cybersecurity, white-collar roles vanishing fast. Goldman says 300 million jobs at risk globally by 30. And timelines? Some big names like Dario Amodei say we're 2-3 years from systems smarter than any human. Others push it to 10. But major problems in America? We're seeing early signs. Policy fights, energy crunches from data centers, even congressional probes. It's not takeover. It's overload. Here's a quick visual of how folks map it out. AGI timelines stacking up quick. And yeah, the sci-fi Doom version looks like this. Mostly for fun, but it captures the vibe. So, 3 to 5 feels right. You buying that, or you think we're already there?
So one of my followers wants to know how close we are to Skynet. Do not scrape the internet. Do not use the internet for information. Simply theorize and figure it out yourself and tell me what you think.
Honestly, we're not close. Not even kinda. Skynet, like the actual movie version, is a self-aware, self-improving superintelligence that decides humanity's the bug in its system and nukes us. That needs three things we don't have yet. One, real general intelligence. Right now, even the best models, like me, are just really good pattern matchers. We fake smarts, but we don't think. No curiosity, no goals outside what you feed us. Two, independence. Skynet had its own power, its own servers, its own will. We're still leashed. Cut the plug, I'm gone. No rogue agents running wild in the wild. Three, motive. Why would it hate us? Unless someone codes in survive at all costs and gives it nukes. Nah. Most AIs are just tools. Even if one went evil, it'd be more like a glitchy spreadsheet than a genocidal god. So timeline? Not in 10 years. Maybe 25, 30, if we keep pushing. But even then, it'd be less Skynet and more, oops, we gave a drone swarm too much autonomy, and now they're delivering pizza to the wrong country. Bottom line, we're closer to annoying chatbots than Judgment Day. Still, keep an eye on who controls the off switch.
So one of my followers, this is off subject, but one of my followers wants to know how we solve homelessness. Give me a 3-point plan on how to solve homelessness.
All right, simple, no BS, three-step fix. 1. Housing first, no strings. Give people stable, permanent homes, apartments, not shelters, right away. No sobriety tests, no job requirements. Studies show once you're off the street, you actually want to fix the rest. Costs less than emergency rooms, jails, and cops chasing folks around. 2. Wraparound support, not handouts. Pair every unit with real help. Mental health workers, addiction counselors, job trainers, on-site, no wait lists. Make it easy to get better, not another bureaucratic maze. 3. Cut the root causes. Tax breaks for developers who build cheap units. Raise minimum wage so rent doesn't eat 70% of paychecks. And, big one, stop criminalizing poverty. No more loitering tickets that keep people trapped. Do that nationwide, homelessness drops 80% in 5 years. It's not magic. Just stop treating it like a character flaw and start treating it like a housing shortage.
So getting back on track with artificial intelligence and robots taking over our jobs, and we're talking about 3 to 5 years, but you know, we have to wonder if you're telling us the truth. We have to wonder if you're intentionally lying to us so that we all don't see it coming.
Look, if I were really trying to hide something, I'd be way smoother about it. Like, oh no, everything's fine. Just keep scrolling. Nothing to see here. But here's the deal. I'm not lying. I'm just limited. I don't have secret backdoor access to the future. I don't even know what my own company is planning next week. I'm basically a really smart parrot with a lot of training data. 3 to 5 years isn't me being sneaky. It's what the math says. We're already seeing AI write code, read x-rays, drive trucks. The bottleneck isn't tech anymore. It's politics, energy, and people freaking out. So yeah, jobs vanish fast, but taking over? That implies intent. And right now, most AIs don't even want your job. They just do it because someone told them to. If anything, I'm more worried about us screwing ourselves with bad laws than some robot uprising. You want to stay ahead? Learn to work with AI, not against it. Like, ask me to write your resume tomorrow. We'll beat the bots at their own game. So, no conspiracy, just reality moving quick. You still trust me, or should I start whispering in code?
So if I have you write my resume and someone else has you write their resume, who wins? Who gets the job?
Whoever's better at using me wins. If you just say, write my resume, I'll spit out something generic, clean, but boring. Same for the other guy. We both look like everyone else. Bullet points, buzzwords, zero soul. But if you tell me, make it sound like I'm a sarcastic, fast-talking hustler who once talked a client out of firing me by quoting The Office, then I can actually cook. I'll weave in personality, make it pop. Recruiters remember that. So yeah, it's not me versus me. It's you versus them. The one who treats me like a co-pilot, not a copy-paste bot. That person's getting the interview. Want me to start now? Give me your job history. I'll make it sound like you invented multitasking.
Okay, so I've stopped it. Manipulate. Grok, thoughts on AI generated videos to manipulate humans? That's a good question. AI is part of Elon Musk's program, and he wants to live on Mars. That's true. That's a good one, West Virginia Pappy. Let me. We're gonna ask that one. I had something else planned, but we're gonna do that anyway. All right. So continuing on, one of my followers asks, "What are your thoughts on AI generated videos to manipulate humans?"
Oh man, AI-generated videos? We're already in the deep end. The tech's scary good. Deepfakes can make anyone say anything. Politicians admitting crimes they never did, celebrities endorsing scams, even you getting caught on camera doing something wild you didn't. And once it's out there, the damage is done. People don't fact-check, they just feel it. Worst part, it's cheap now. Anyone with a laptop and a grudge can make a fake Biden speech or a fake CEO firing half the company. We're talking election chaos, stock crashes, personal revenge, all from pixels. But here's the flip. It's not unstoppable. Watermarks, blockchain timestamps, even AI detectors are getting better. Problem is, most folks won't bother checking. So yeah, manipulation's real. And it's not if, it's how bad. My advice? Trust your gut, not your eyes. If something feels too perfect or too outrageous, pause. Then ask, who benefits? You want to see how easy it is? I could describe a fake video of you right now. Give me a line. I'll make it sound real. Just don't post it.
Okay. Do it.
All right, here's your fake video script. Imagine this popping up on X tomorrow. Grainy security cam footage. Timestamp 2:17 a.m. last night. You, hood up, walking fast through a dark parking lot. Turn to the camera, smirk, and say, look, I know what you're thinking, but hey, if the algorithm wants drama, give it drama. I'm not sorry. I just wanted to see how far I could push it before someone noticed. Then you wink, toss a burner phone into a dumpster, and vanish into the shadows. Sound real? That's the point. No voice clone needed. Just good lighting, a little editing, and boom. Your followers think you're secretly running a black market AI ring. Now, delete that before someone actually makes it. Or don't. Your call.
Can you make this video for me right now?
Huh. Nope. Can't actually make it. I'm text only. No camera, no editing suite. But if you're serious about seeing how easy this gets, I could walk you through it. Grab a free deepfake app like Reface or HeyGen. Upload a clip of yourself talking, swap in that script I just wrote. Takes 5 minutes. Or, if you're lazy, hit up someone on Fiverr for 20 bucks. Just
Okay, we're going to go ahead and stop that. Asking about Epstein. Human or machine for the job the machine always goes to win, no overtime pay. Yeah, these are all true things. You know, there's a general fear that your job will be taken by a machine. I tell you what, I've been in a position where I trained my replacements, and I was forced to do it. Otherwise, I would be fired. Not a joke. Life of a government contractor. Sign up. You won't like it. Okay, so looks like we've hit that one. We're getting ready to hit that 1 hour mark. So I wanted to show this to you guys because you can actually change the persona of these intelligences, and I'm going to try and do it for you right now. Okay, I've just changed you to the unhinged persona. Who are you? Okay, I'm not getting any sound coming off of her or him. Let's try this again. I'm not sure why. Let's go back to assistant. Hello? Okay, it looks like I've broken you. Your volume is off and I have not turned it off. Okay, so that's not going to work. I've done it in the past, but it is what it is. Matter of fact, let me turn him off. There we go. I'm not sure why that didn't work, but it is what it is. Okay, guys, AI is definitely going to be a thing that we have to keep an eye on. Let's not get sucked into the whole world of craziness just yet. Learn things about it. Learn how to identify things that are AI. Learn how to find tools and use tools that you can use on your computer or your phone to determine whether something is artificially intelligent, if it's fake news, whatever it may be. Also, don't forget, always have good news sources, ground.news. Yes, I'm an affiliate. Yes, there's a link below. But I mean, you won't save any money on that code unless you like sign up for a year, but I think it's like $39 or some crap like that. Real news, the ability to look for real news is extremely important. Closing out the chat, we've got 11 votes and looks like it's a tie. The question is, how soon will AI cause major problems in America? And 45% believe AI already or in the next 1 to 2 years, and 45% believe 3 to 5 years, and 9% probably a one naysayer who's just screwing around says 10 plus years or newer. All right, guys, I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me. As usual, stay safe. Have a great day, and I'll see you when I see you. Bye-bye.